to Senator Perin Davey. Thanks for your time. Zali Steggall says your support and the national support of nuclear is all about a distraction, that you're trying to delay the transition to clean energy. What do you say to her?
Absolute rubbish. We have been talking about nuclear for quite a while now. We've firmed up our position just after the last election because we recognise when we took to the last election a policy of net zero by 2050, it was all about technology, not taxes. So it was not just nuclear, but nuclear is a vital part because nuclear is a one way to get firm baseload power that can be can be reliable for industry, particularly for our big smelters and major industries like that can operate when the wind's not blowing and the sun's not shining.
Would the regions, I mean, you represent, your party represents the regions around this nation, and I see Ted O'Brien talking about the Liddell site as a possible location for a number of small nuclear module reactors. Would they welcome that?
Look, I mean, they've put up with coal-fired power stations for a long time, and you could argue that nuclear power stations are less polluting, less invasive than coal-fired power stations. But the other thing, Zali Steggall keeps focusing on, well, where would you put them? No one, before we started talking about renewables, no one was saying, where are we going to put these major solar and wind factories across our nation? And now we are seeing pristine Queensland landscapes being bulldozed to put in wind turbines. We are seeing 28,000 kilometres of transmission lines crisscrossing our regions. Zali's not saying put the wind turbines on Mossman Head or have offshore wind turbines off Manly. They didn't have that discussion then. People in the Hunter and the Illawarra who are now being told you're going to have an offshore wind factory have woken up and gone, wow, no one told me. So Zali is absolutely hypocritical when it comes to needing to know and dictate everything prior to.
Are the Nats still committed to net zero by 2050?
We are still committed to net zero, but we are committed to it, technology, not taxes. And that not only means nuclear, but let's look at carbon capture and storage. Norway is currently rolling out the largest carbon capture and storage program in the world. There are lots of opportunities ahead in net zero. This government, and Zali, to her credit, from her perspective, are focused only on renewables, and we know that only renewables is not sustainable.
Are you looking at
any power energy supply?
Would you be open to a 2035 target? Because if there is that 2050 goal, the government has a 2035. Will the coalition land on one?
The government has a 2035 target that they are not going to meet.
Will the coalition?
So what is the point of having a target if you're not going to meet it? We know we can get to 2050 using technology, not taxes, keeping an open mind, and that is what we're focused on.
Will you support a 2035 target before the election?
That's not our priority. Our priority is a clear line to 2050. That's what we're focused on. We're not going to put in place targets that we know we're not going to meet like this government has.
A few other issues, the immigration detainees. This week, the focus has been on Andrew Giles. Has the government sort of fought out a bit of a stalemate on this issue?
Well, I mean, Andrew Giles has so many questions that he's still refusing to answer. Why did he not have a plan B? They were warned in June that this could be the outcome. They didn't have a plan B. They were so arrogant that they just marched on. And it was only after the fact, when they were caught red-faced, that they realised they needed to put something else in place. And they were so ill-prepared that even though they managed to rush through Parliament preventative detention orders, they hadn't worked out how to even fill in the applications, and they still haven't lodged a single application.
Are you reassured by his point that the police, the state and federal, are monitoring these individuals? Are you reassured by that?
No. Not at all, because, we know some of them aren't wearing ankle bracelets. Are we absolutely sure that we know exactly where all of these detainees are and that they are being continuously monitored? I'm not.
Deputy Nationals Leader Perin Davey, talk to you